I believe, Denise, that
Yes,
you and
Ann.
I have the most wonderful opportunity
Yes,
provided to us today by Michael and David. We have a time capsule trunk here. We do not know what's in it.
No, we don't. It's going to be
And
fun to find out.
You have not seen
We have
anything.
not seen inside.
No. So,
So,
shall we go
Open.
inside the trunk, which is third quarter of the, I believe, second or third quarter of the 19th century, French trunk. And
oh, don't you love how this
I've got
opens
to
up
come
here?
around and see what lurks here. Okay.
So what would we put in here? Would we
would put
hats or
accessories and hats, and sometimes there's little stands for or cabinets for the hats inside, but we'll find that out later on as we go.
You could put things in here.
You put things in here,
Gloves or something.
small things that
Papers.
can lie flat. We've got drawers. This says that it's for diverse items, so that means any sorts of accessories.
Anything in there?
No.
No. Oh, well, that's
No.
a bummer.
Well,
And this one's for
I think I see.
gloves. Yes. Is that for gloves?
Yes, that's for gloves. Now, this doll must have had more than two hands.
yes.
If that's for her
For her
gloves.
gloves.
And gloves alone.
Or something for every outfit, for every costume. This is bijou, but
Jewelry,
there's none.
jewelry. But maybe,
Crocheted little item.
and we had cushions in this one. And this one has a monogram, L-I-P, it looks like. Can you see from
Oh, yes,
where
sure.
you are filming from?
Actually, it's beautiful work too.
Yeah. And that looks like it was crocheted.
Yes, I believe that's crocheted, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah. And this could either have decorated her bed, or it could have been a sachet to keep the
sure.
clothes smelling nice and sweet, or it could have been
Can we-
for putting pins into.
Well, you know what? It smells like an attic, which I love.
So it
It
may
doesn't
well have
smell
been
any
a
scents, but,
but it may have been, and on the back of it, do you know what we have?
Oh,
A
butterfly.
butterfly. Isn't that the
that-
sweetest?
Oh, yes, that's great.
wonder if it was a project for the child.
I think maybe the child needed a few more.
More lessons.
Yes,
More years.
a few more years to do some crocheting like that. I think that's a little advanced for a small child. Now, don't you love the shape of the drawer? So that will fit into the
Were they all?
lid of the,
Okay.
you know.
They all are like that.
And I think you can see in there how the dome of the trunk lid is shaped, and then the
No, I've never seen
angled
it.
trapezoidal shape of the drawer to fit right in there so it lies nice and flat. And then when the trunk is in action, this is hooked in so that the the drawers will not move when the trunk is moved.
Great use of the space.
Now this is going to hold clothing.
So this is pretty usual to find a tray like this.
This,
with a
yes.
Kind of webbing. What would they put up here?
Probably this would have had the lingerie
And smaller items?
items,
maybe?
yes.
If you hear snoring, it's not our
And
stomachs.
the other thing is that you pulled it out holding these tapes lifted it out. Oh, my arm is not long enough. That's good. Ooh.
Okay. Wow, well, the first thing
Now,
you see.
this is interesting because this is not a parasol. This is an umbrella. And umbrellas can be identified because they have plain coverings. I can't think of what the,
Oilcloth?
no, just black, and they were usually black too, because they were practical. They were not
Okay.
party time items, they were to be practical items. And they would not have had a lace covering over them, which a lot of parasols did have.
Or a fringe at
Yeah,
the bottom?
yeah.
Okay.
And the parasols frequently had the ferrule with a some sort of thing which you could grab hold of, because you carried the parasol frequently from the ferrule end up, and umbrellas were
That way.
carried down.
Wow.
Now, one thing as a collector that you never want to do is go and extend this all the way out, because black silk is one of the least long-lived textiles, and this will break almost immediately if you extend this too far.
Okay, good to
So
know.
never do an extension on either a parasol or an umbrella. Just love them and look at them from their slightly closed. And does this have
a little?
a little?
Oh, it may be a repair.
Yeah, I don't see, but frequently these will have a little tape to hold them in place, and that would have been where the tape would have been attached, yeah. Okay, Denise, you have any additions?
It's wonderful. No, I'm glad that I know now that this is an umbrella and not a parasol. It makes sense, though. It's
Yes.
very practical. And I don't know, and this was so large as well.
Yeah.
The handle just seemed larger than
Yeah,
most
bec-
parasols that I see.
Yes. And parasols, frequently, because they were called carriage parasols, they collapsed. You get the handle.
Oh, it telescopes in, kind of like
It
that?
folds back
Folds
usually.
back, okay.
Usually, yeah. But that was so that.
I'm glad we saw that.
If the dog was getting into a carriage, it could easily compact the, now then, why don't you take that out? I took
Take
that.
this out? Okay.
Yes, it's your turn.
Oh, my turn. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it's a beautiful skirt. And it looks like it's a beautiful, like changeables?
Yes, changeant.
What, excuse me? Oh,
Changeable.
changeant means changeable.
Changeable, yeah.
Okay. Silk taffeta?
Yep, looks like that to me.
Look at that. How often do you see that changeable?
Quite often
Fabric.
in the 1860s.
But now, I don't know. I don't see it that often.
Now, I think I see something, it's hard to tell, but which we would never think of allowing to remain. It was important often to allow the fold of the fabric remain as part of the,
The design of the...
yes, yeah. They did not always press out the seams of the
Oh, okay.
yard goods.
Okay. There are a couple of little hooks here that are eyes with the hook, little metal eyes. So if she ate too much, she could kind of put it here. Otherwise, she'd probably try to attach it there. And it's flat, pretty flat paneled in front,
Which means it's later 60s.
and pleated on the sides and around the back. And look at that train. Look at that. So she could have attended a party, gathering at her house.
I have a suspicion that this is a sort of an afternoon dress.
But indoors.
Because I'm looking at the bodice. I'm taking
Oh, you see the
I'm
okay,
taking
well,
a
let's.
sneak
Oh, that's,
peek.
okay. It's a gorgeous color. Let's see then. Here, let's take the bodice out. Okay, yes, and this is not very fancy, right? Look at that.
Now then, Denise, is there something unusual about this? Is
About the
this-
bodice or about the whole outfit?
No, about the bodice. Look at the direction of the sleeves.
Oh, Missy, you had it wrong. There you go. No?
Yeah,
Yes?
that's the front. Yeah,
I guess I'm so used to things opening in the front.
front. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had to think second.
But yes,
you know,
look at
but-
the sleeves would be
Sleeves,
going
yeah,
very
yeah.
crazy. Lovely.
And that's often a good way to tell what direction the bodice should be going. And this one's beautifully finished and constructed on the inside, from what I can see. No boning.
No boning. And this machine or not? It could be so
In
good.
people's costume of this period, you will find the hardest bits sewn by machinery. You will find the straight seams of the skirts sewn by hand.
Oh.
And I've never ever been able to figure out why you wouldn't want to.
See, we want to sew the straight seams with the machine.
Yeah, get it done. They're easy, but and you see with it facing this direction, there's no question in my mind now that that was a day dress.
But simple decoration. It's just some tape and some ribbon.
But that's
was it? Yeah, that was it.
that's absolutely spot on.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Now then, do I get
It's in
a bit
great
of
condition.
lingerie now?
Oh,
Are
yes,
you ready now to
yes,
move on to the
that's-
next
it's
good
the next
goodie in
next
the?
thing here.
Okay. Whoops. Okay. This is a garment that has passed on and out of our vocabulary today. This is a chemise. And this was a garment that had been worn by women from medieval times on, and it looks very much like a nightgown, but it isn't. It's the garment that was worn over the corset. Oh, no, excuse me, under the corset. And the fabric around the waist bunched up. And frequently it will have a seam which you will find in the front when you're dressing the doll. A lot of collectors think because it's an opening, it goes in the back, but it doesn't. It goes in the front. And frequently you'll find that you tell also the direction that the garment was meant to fit on the doll by where the neckline falls in the front and the back. Higher in the back,
And then
lower in the front. And
Why would they not have made it more fitting so that it wasn't so bunchy in the waist?
because
Just a
that's what they
question.
were, that's what they were used to. And I think, people say, oh, well, how could they wear corsets? They're so deforming and so forth. They were used to
Yes,
wearing
they're used to it.
corsets. If a 19th century woman, 18th century woman had been put in our bras, they would have been miserable. It's all a matter of what you're used to wearing.
I think it kept their postures
Yes,
nice.
yes.
upright.
And
We have to think about it
the
all the time.
thing is, the great sort of apocryphal thing about, oh, an 18-inch waist, that was the size you bought. But you were meant to leave an opening in the back so that if you didn't have an 18-inch waist, you had a 20-inch waist as probably one of the smaller sizes. But then you went up from that. But it was the sizing, not the finished
Okay.
size
Wasn't
of
Scarlett.
the garment.
Scarlett
Yeah,
O'Hara.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Okay.
lovely.
I'm going to hand this around to you.
Okay.
And then you get to
Good.
pick.
Well, the next thing is this. I don't even know yet until I pick it up. I think I know. It looks like an apron. I'm
Oh,
trying to
wonderful.
Look at that. Now what is, oh, there's just some, let me look at it from the inside too. So there's just some piping here. Yeah. And then the little shoulders
Shoulders,
came over.
yeah.
And I don't see anything, so they must have pinned it in the back.
This is the waistband,
The waistband here,
and then those would have been caught,
like up here,
yeah.
maybe crossing.
They might have crossed, or you'd have to have a body.
To really
Yeah,
make it
yeah,
fit.
Yeah. And I think we have a head only in the trunk now,
Yes.
so it's a little hard to dress this up for everybody. So shall we take a look at her head?
Okay. Seeing it upside down. Look at that.
Oh, beautiful. Now, a bird whispered in our ear before we started filming this that this doll has, or this head has a body.
She does have a body, but
But for now, we're having to dress her in our imagination.
yes. Because I'm pulling her a little bit because I wanted to see if there's a mark down here, but I'm not going to pull her very much. I don't see one. She has ears pierced into her head, not through a lobe. It's beautiful spiral and blue-gray eyes.
Lovely head,
And
lovely head.
She is quite French, is she not?
Well, I don't think I would say that this head was made in New Zealand.
And we have a good opportunity to look inside also. You can see the plaster where her eyes are.
I think this is
Held
classic
in?
French.
I think so. And that little knob and the little kid skin around it to protect the bisque, pulling the tension down. And I guess we can look in this way. Oh, yes, here we go. So, don't always see this side of things,
No,
under a shoulder plate.
that's a serious device for uniting the
It
head
looks
to the shoulder plate.
And it still
And,
looks
and
new.
you would think that there was so much tension on that it might just break.
Break it, and
Yeah.
it doesn't. And so, obviously, she has some sew holes back
Mm-hmm.
in front, so she can be sewn onto a body,
Yes.
fabric,
and
or
she can
kid,
also,
or
she can also
so
be
be
glued,
glued
on,
onto it.
Yeah, there are multiple ways of securing.
and it looks like they maybe had a kid strip to mask this area between
Yeah.
the shoulder plate and the body. But she has a wooden body, I believe.
She does.
She does, yes.
And she's also a size 4.
Okay.
You see on the shoulder plate, it says
Oh, okay. In front?
in the back.
Oh, in the back, and I'm holding it.
But it's odd because
Oh.
it's off-centered. I've never seen that
I-
before.
Oh, gosh, and I don't even see it.
Right here.
Oh, there it is. Yes, I do see it. Oh, instead of centered. Okay.
Oh, and that's a very good impression
And that's kind of the standard
Yeah.
size.
Look at those little eyebrows, how long they go, all feathered out.
I wouldn't have
Beautiful.
minded finding that
No, yeah.
as a New Year's gift.
Yeah, no, not at all. I'd like it
Yeah.
very much.
No, that would have made a very happy child of me as a New Year's gift.
Oh, yes.
And a very happy adult as a New Year's gift.
We wouldn't mind it right now.
Okay. Goody. She's got more than one apron. And this is something that was so important to have because this is her sort of everyday apron as opposed to the
Fancier one.
fancier one. And the ability to change your apron for
Depending on what you're doing.
yes.
But how practical that is.
Yeah. And it's got lots of nice streamers, so it's going to make a big fancy bow in the back. And that's going to really give, with the streamers coming down the back of a dress like your taffeta, that's going to add a wonderful extra dimension
In the back.
yeah. I don't think I can say anything more about
What about the fabric it's made of?
I think it's a cotton, and it's would have been an inexpensive cotton, and the threads, both in the warp and in the weft, the up and down, and the across threads, you've got slubs in it, which in some instances are considered a decorative component, and other instances are, oh, that's not top quality.
Right, sure.
No.
But we can make these, people.
Oh, that's an easy
I
one.
mean, look at whatever, the shape,
yeah,
a few pin tucks, some lace.
Because it's basically a rectangle.
Oh, I'm sorry. And this is not something you would wash, I don't think. Would you wash this? You would.
That
You
one could
can?
be washed.
You can.
yeah.
It wouldn't
Yeah,
ruin
no,
the. Okay.
I don't see anything. And this, if I washed it, I would stitch it between screening so that you didn't have the weight of the
Weight of it. So
Yeah.
stitch it between screening, kind of baste it through.
Yeah.
And then put it in the water.
And that way you can up and down it in the water, so that you get the activity there without the stress on the fabric.
Okay, great.
Your turn.
Oh, my turn. I think I have a full slip. So it looks like they used a piece of,
Embroidery
Embroidery.
anglaise.
is it broderie anglaise? Is that what-
Embroidery
Embroidery
anglaise.
And we only have 2 big buttons and buttonholes.
Now, what I want to
Which-
see is whether that embroidery is machine embroidery or whether it's by hand.
Well,
And do you know how to tell that, Denise?
do we have to look at it from behind, or do we
Absolutely.
look at it? Okay, let's see.
The telltale tracks are to be found on the back side. And what you're looking for is in the repeat of the pattern, and this is good because the pattern repeat is small. If you see any inconsistencies in the throwing of the thread, then it means it's handmade. If the throwing of the thread is always consistent from motif to motif and within the motif, then it's likely to be machine done.
So far, it looks pretty consistent to me.
Then it's machine done.
Are you seeing anything different? I'm looking at these little round flowers and then at the leaves, and these very much like that. That's very, I think it's consistent, actually.
Consistent.
Now, these threads that go from one area to another, that could be machine.
No,
No?
it's all going to be one or the other.
But if we think that, well, but see those threads? I'm going to give it to you. The threads that go from one area to another.
And for this, I have to take off the eyeglasses. Yeah, I'm going to say this is machine. Yeah. And if it was done by hand, the person who did it by hand was paid by the piece. They would collect from a distributor the, what do you call it? I want to say stenciled, the iron-on tracing. And take the material away with them, do the embroidery at home, and then take the finished pieces back, and we'll be paid by the piece.
But isn't it amazing that we have to look so hard and examine it so closely to even know,
Yeah,
you know? That people were good enough to do
do
this
it, yeah,
work by
yeah.
hand.
I mean, it's amazing that it's really, so much of these wonderful needlework skills are lost today because, number one, you don't have the materials such as the fine quality threads and the fine quality needles.
Ooh.
And as somebody once said to me, if, and a lot of embroiderers, some of the greatest embroiderers were men, and men are more likely to complain about the tools they're working with. Oh, this needle is awful, it's not, but women are less likely to moan and groan about their needles and threads. And so that's why the fine quality needles and threads sort of dropped off the marketplace. And,
Didn't complain enough.
yeah. Okay, ma'am.
Yes, I think this is yours.
Oh, this is
Look at the
mine.
color.
Oh, a wonderful jacket. Plush. And this was such an important fabric. And it's wonderful because for anybody who lived through the 1950s and had fake fur, this was the equivalent of fake fur. And fake fur in the 50s was colored and would be the equivalent 100 years later.
Later, yes.
Yeah. And this is just, isn't it a textbook example of these short jackets?
Yes, the short full jacket.
And with the characteristic coat sleeve, which is a two-piece sleeve with a curve
Yep.
in the arm.
Yeah.
And this originally had 3 buttons. And how can you tell? Oh,
Holes.
buttonholes. And you can see where the, this is always fun, is to check where the button went originally. And there's so much that anywhere a needle has pierced the fabric, you can trace that back frequently and say, well, this originally had something there that has gone away. You also find shadows where trim once was and is no more. So you get to be a detective.
Let's see the sleeve too, because you mentioned it was
2 pieces.
2 pieces, but
I think it is.
yes, but where do you put the seam?
Oh,
So the seams are not on the bottom and on the top.
No, it doesn't follow. If there's a seaming on the side, it does not follow
So you can see where it is coming out of the armhole here. And then it lies nice and
Yeah.
curved.
Yeah. And don't ever let anybody tell you that Madeleine Vianney discovered, the French designer of the 1920s, that she discovered bias cut,
Oh,
where you don't cut the fabric on the grain, because these were cut off grain, so that they also had a little bit more flexibility.
makes sense.
Because you don't get flexibility when you have everything straight on the grain.
So soft. Lovely.
Are you two going to fight over that?
Well, we might. I don't know. We have the head here.
Well,
we've got
do
the
we get to
plush.
fight over a particular garment?
Oh, I
Or
didn't
do
know
we
that
get
you were
to
going to
fight?
let go of that.
Well, now here's something lovely and practical. Little shawl. Flannel. Gorgeous trim. Just
I know
love
those
this
fringes.
long fringe. And it's very simply made. It's just folded over and sewn. But practical.
And that was a de rigueur accessory in any woman's wardrobe.
It looks to me like it would work very nice with the first
Yes.
costume as a contrasting. What do you
Yeah,
think?
look at that.
This all goes together too
Really
beautifully
does,
for
doesn't it?
words.
Oh,
I keep
another
on,
more blue.
you know, peeking.
Oh, we've
Do I
got
get the next
more
one?
and more. Yes, look at that.
Okay, because we get a hooded cape here. And again, this was, and what's interesting here is oftentimes the hood was completely useless, sometimes, and purely decorative. Sometimes it looks like it's going to fit, and sometimes it did fit. And there's no necessarily rhyme or reason. This, I don't think, is going to go up over her head.
Often, I think the hood part is much bigger than you would think it should be in order to really
Let's
fit.
put it, wait.
Okay, oh, you have it. We're fighting.
Because we have to,
Okay.
this we can do, I think. Now, the question is that going to come up? And remember, she's going to have hair.
Hair, yeah.
Okay. I need to have that held
Okay, I got her shoulder.
down. See, that's not going to come up over her hair. So that's just a purely decorative hood. And a lovely China silk lining. Now, is this a ribbon that's been used as the binding? Denise, your eyes are better than mine.
It looks like it. It looks like a silk
Yeah,
satin ribbon.
Yeah.
And then the little extra here.
And I think you can also see that when it comes around the neckline, the fact that the ribbon is on the grain, it doesn't give it as smooth a finish as if you had cut
If it were on the
bias. Yeah.
And it's just folded over, so
Yeah.
you see all of the pleating
Yeah.
underneath it. But let's see that in here, is this? It's not elasticized thread at all.
No. And the other thing is that if this had been meant to go up over the head, it probably would have had a black bit
Oh,
of,
lining. No?
No,
Or-
edging.
on here? Or
No, on.
along the edge of the
on the
cape,
back
of the hood.
here, where it's drawn in. Because you would see
You're saying
that.
over this?
Over this, yeah.
Okay.
Laid over that.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you wouldn't want it to just be plain blue. This is a wool, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's like a flannel wool or something?
Yeah. Very fine flannel.
And let's see how many panels or how many seams. So there's 1, 2, and then a large back one, and then a side and a front. To the side, and the front is pretty small. And then here's the other side.
Now, are those seams evenly distributed?
I-
Or are they,
There, let's. I think so. Let's see, I think so.
because they sometimes patched
Right.
materials together.
But this is pretty much matching up
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That's pretty much matching
Yeah,
up there. You have to
that's-
give a little, and yes. So this on the fold and then 2.
So they're following a pattern there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is not
Not a patched up.
patched
Yes.
up, yeah.
Oh, look at that. Here, we can put her, oh, you want to leave her?
Now, Denise, my entire life I've been told I'm not a hat person.
No, I don't like hats either. Well, I like them, but then, nah.
So I leave this one to you.
Well, look at that beautiful, beautiful straw. I don't know what kind of straw this is, but even this woven feels like it's a straw type material.
I would
This is,
imagine that this is an Italian leghorn straw.
but there's, this straw and then this as we kind of, see now, although it's
so-
awfully narrow and alternating, and then this. Gorgeous. And they just, you just start and you just keep going around and around. And when you're doing these, it's really by feel. You feel when, okay, now it's time to, tighten up and go down, and
yeah.
now it's time to kind of loosen up and go out. And it's hard to tell somebody exactly. It's just sort of by
It's intuitive.
feel.
Yeah.
Look at that. Okay. And so that finishes that off inside it also. Now here it looks like where they started and left off. So that, to me, I would think that was the back. So
Yes.
then, okay, we have this orientation, put it on the doll, and then you have these ribbons front and back. I mean,
Yes,
you
but-
could think maybe it's, but
No,
it's.
but it's off center. It's
yeah.
off center, yeah.
So it'll go like, kind of like that.
Yeah. But it just sort of wants to rest on the top of her head.
Look at that.
I can't see what I'm doing, Michael.
Of course, when she has her hair on her.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, we all actually use our imagination a little bit.
and she's probably going to have ringlets coming down the side.
I believe the hair is in there, so
Oh,
you will
Yay.
get
He's
her,
giving away secrets
yay,
already.
yay.
you'll be able to test
Just
it.
have to keep going. Do you want me to put her on the table, or?
Yes, because I don't have,
Because we're going to be taking that out too. And we'll leave her right there. Oh, look at that skirt.
and one of the most wonderful decorative components and so simple to do. Right, Denise?
Yes, yes. Just takes a little time.
Time, yeah, yeah. And the construction of the dress is, ooh, this is taffeta is weak in spots.
But I think we just
Yeah.
look at it and see how they, you're putting on this little, false hem or whatever you want to call it. And they're just sewing it. They're just basically basting it
Basting it
on.
on, yeah,
And they're not
yeah.
spending a lot of time with teeny stitches because they're going to put the trim right over that.
Yeah. And you've got the basting stitches still left in. They didn't. And then you've got the trim stitches that you're seeing also. Now, all these are just little tabs of ribbon
Yes.
with little buttons heading. And I think it makes an incredibly sophisticated trim on it. Now, frequently the waistbands were hidden underneath the bodice. This time,
Meant to
the
be
waistband was meant to be seen. It was over the bodice.
Look at that.
Now, then, where does the placket go? Is it in center or is it off center?
Let's see, we have to see where the train goes. It's on the side,
side,
isn't it? I
yes.
think it's on the side of the garment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
again, wonderful.
See, you just need patience. I don't know how many buttons there are and
And again,
Little
this
loops, but-
beautiful blue, so characteristic of the 1860s. Oh,
she can
yum,
go
yum,
anywhere.
yum.
Let's see. Oh, she's needs a little bit more.
Yes, and that's her.
Look at that. Her jacket.
She's going shopping in this outfit. Now, this is a sort of outfit that easily have had two bodices.
For evening and afternoon,
Yeah,
day wear.
yeah.
Yes.
Now, our audience must realize by now that there's another layer yet to be seen.
There is
in
another
this
layer, which is amazing. I don't know if I
amazing trunk.
want to pull on this too much, but let's see.
Okay. Denise walked away,
I
so
walked away with this. I don't want to
So-
put it on the floor. Oh.
I'm going to look at, again, it's a day bodice that we've got here. I don't know, there's still some more blue things glaring up at us. But this one definitely opens in the front by the direction of the sleeves. I don't know whether we can,
Well, let's see. We're a little bit backwards, but we can see how the waistband went on top. And still, they carried through the little tabs. Just make them a little smaller, the bodice.
and they've used the same width of ribbon, I think, throughout, haven't they?
I think the sleeves are, yeah, I think it is.
But this is all a very simple trim, wouldn't you say, Denise? This
Very,
is-
very, like, it's just patience and, mark out how far
Yeah.
apart, and keep that even,
And
and,
they've reduced the length of the tab for the bodice.
yes, they made it smaller.
Yeah.
And then a little bit on the sleeve, just sort of,
Just sort
a
of a
little
little
corner there.
chevron. And again, the bodice,
They're
I think,
gorgeous,
is
gorgeous.
fully lined.
yes. Fully aligned.
Oh, it's a,
Oh, amazing. But this isn't the only one. We have more amazing.
your turn, ma'am.
Well, we have a bodice, and we also have a skirt. You might want to pick that up. We'll do it together, maybe.
Another bit of. These are all trained. Oh my goodness, this one seems to go
They'd go
from here
forever.
across the Atlantic. But wonderful.
And look at the green velvet.
I'm gonna put my
Trim.
big black arm front.
Well, see, again, we want to see the waistband on the outside. Let's see, maybe I can put it in like that.
Does this plaid look familiar to you? Is this not the same plaid that sanitary fair doll, who I just forgot her name, that lives in Kansas City?
Oh,
Is this the same fabric?
Is that the same fabric for Ethel Newcomb?
Ethel Newcomb. Could be. It looks very familiar to me.
Well, remember Queen Victoria made this popular, and even the French took it up.
I mean, it's
And again, it's such simple trim on it, but so elegant, so sophisticated.
you just fold the ends of the ribbon under.
Yeah.
Make little points, and on the sleeves as well.
Yeah, that's,
See, it's
Yeah,
all in the fabric with these dresses. You want to see the fabric.
and
Gorgeous
these are
fabric
all
prints.
impact.
When you walk
Visual,
in the room.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting, we've had two skirts which go over the bodice and one that goes under. Yeah. And this one has the hemline facing. And that served two purposes. One, to keep the skirt extended outward, and the other was if you as a human being was walking out in the less than clean streets, you would soil the textile, or you wouldn't soil the textile
wouldn't
because
start-
you had a buffer between
The nice fabric.
as this dragged along the street. And then you had a further buffer by having the binding on the,
binding.
yes.
You can see here they've put in a little piece that was needed.
Because
Pieced the
because
fabric.
the textile may not have been wide enough
They've matched it perfectly.
Yeah.
It's fine.
to match the pattern now.
Colors like this.
Now it looks like we go winter here.
Oh, look at that. What do we have? I don't even, oh, it's a skirt. Oh, you have the rest. Look at that trim.
But this was a garment with this raised pile.
It's looped, isn't it? It's not plush, it's looped.
Yeah, it's a raised, it's an uncut pile
Oh, okay.
as opposed to a cut pile. The blue looks like it's a cut pile, and the white looks like it's an uncut pile, and it's a file. And again, I'm looking at the back of the bodice, and there's the front of the bodice.
We're all gonna be looking for that now, where the sleeves go.
And again, the direction of the sleeves and the height of the neckline. And I'm willing to bet that this one probably was an over the waist line. I think it could go either way,
Either
but
way, because this
on
is
this-
not fancy at all. This
no,
would be
no,
under,
but I think that this probably
Went over.
Over. That would be my guess.
And they're real, and they look like they're made by the same hand and in the same way. Here they took the time to kind of sew this in more than they based it, but they still put the trim over it.
Well,
Over that seam
not
line.
necessarily the same person made all of these garments for the same doll. Because the shops had several seamstresses working for them. So your techniques might vary from my
Sure,
techniques.
sure. Maybe they had shared patterns too.
Yeah, no. I mean, they're wonderful 18th century paintings of seamstresses
All sitting in.
all sitting, you know, it's a sewing circle.
Yeah, sure, sure.
And you know, if they were doing that for human size, they're also going to be doing it for doll size.
So, did we say
Now,
that?
I've got a woolen jacket over here.
Oh, look at that.
It's got a price tag in it.
What does it say, $22? I'll take it.
Yeah.
I don't know that it happens from that. I think it just fell in it. Yeah, that would be a good deal, wouldn't it?
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, it's gone.
And I think my eyes tell me maybe that says Paris on the button.
I do believe you're right.
Wow.
Can you see, Denise? Again, my
I
eyes. It says something.
This just looks like a little flower or something.
That's a flower.
Yeah, okay, let me.
Different one. I was looking at that one on the button. I mean, on the pocket. The button on the pocket.
Oh, yeah, I could see PA. Could be, could be.
Because with these metal buttons, they could well have been made
Oh, yeah,
by
they do look like that.
made by
I've seen
a
hers.
company that was making military buttons.
Yeah, they're nice metal buttons.
Yeah.
And this fabric, it's a wool.
Wool, yes.
But it's a textured,
Yes.
I don't think I've seen
And
before.
it looks like it's sort of a diamond shape weave. And then on the interior, it's been brushed.
Little flannel type.
Yeah,
Kind of.
yeah, just very lightly brushed. And this is another thing that a lot of people who make doll clothes do not realize is the number of times that they'll use both the face and the reverse of the textile and highlight, use one side as the dominant surface fabric and then do the reverse side.
Well, they could have done cuffs and collar and
yeah, yeah.
pocket or something.
Take advantage of, because
Of all of
fabric
it.
was very expensive, very expensive.
Evidently not this one. It's only $22.
I think it's worth more than $22,
Well, we
but
have-
that's just my uneducated opinion.
Well, we have a couple more things on the bottom which look pretty fine. Very nice. I don't know what they are.
Okay, I think we have another chemise
You're
here.
gonna like this one.
No,
No.
no.
Nightgown?
Nightgown,
Yay.
nightgown. Because of the length,
Okay, sure.
yeah. And this probably was closed with a ribbon just,
Going through.
yeah. This could have been,
Lovely.
what do you call it, when you run the ribbon through all around, or it could have been just a ribbon looped here in the front and the closure with a bow. And again, this is going to close in the front. And this looks to me like a very fine linen.
Oh, wow.
Feel it.
I'm gonna feel it, yeah. Yeah, it has some.
A handkerchief linen weight, yeah.
And let's see if the inside seams are.
And do you want to see
Nope.
if, are they flap?
Well, this one is, This one is not. I thought they might be French seams.
No.
But no, okay. Sorry. Oh, this is that the, oh, a flap. Do they have them on each side? Or is that just an extra piece of fabric? I think they cut in an extra piece of fabric again.
Yeah.
So that happens.
Yeah.
That happens. That way you make it big enough, you don't waste any fabric.
Fabric was expensive.
And then, look at that.
And
She has
surprise! Another apron.
Beautiful. Machine embroidered.
I would assume so on this one.
okay.
No.
Oh, that. Just
Oh,
look
yeah,
at the
it's
way
just
they
got the-
attached.
Yeah,
The-
I wanted to make sure I was looking at the front side. Well, excuse me, there's the pocket
The pocket.
that I'm not going to argue with.
Inside, yeah.
I'm not going to argue with the pocket.
No, we don't do that.
And that would be a more workaday apron.
Well, it looks like we have a little box or a little area full of whites, which are
Well, I
her
was hoping to get to some
undies.
lingerie.
And it's the usual full cartridge pleat gathered, pin tucks and lace.
It's
pretty
classic.
much-
It's
yeah.
classic.
And then here's, oh, look
Now
at
it's
how
just
full.
shaped a little bit to help the trains.
It looks, is it round? It looks pretty round.
Let it drop, Denise. Yes, it is. But with each one of these tiers on and the seaming here, that's going to help
Push
push
it
the
out.
skirt out.
This looks like some bedding. Let's see, or something.
Or is it one of those things where you just find an odd bit of fabric?
And you throw it in.
Yeah.
Oops.
This looks to me like it might have been a handkerchief. It's hard to tell on this one. It's a square piece of cloth that's been hemmed. But that's the other wonderful thing about going into these trunks is they oftentimes have odd bits
Yeah.
that the childish imagination used for all
Used for
sorts
something,
of things.
sure.
That might have been a shawl,
Sure. Another slip.
another petticoat.
And another petticoat.
Yep. Wonderful. This doll was a very lucky lady.
This has some, thought it was, I can't see from here, feather stitching or just, it's part of the,
I think it's
part
all.
of the,
Yeah, this
The
and you bought this tape
to
by
put on, yeah, by the yard.
That was all pre.
And now we have some drawers. Put them out here. Couple pairs.
Wow, her gloves, at last, her gloves.
We have gants.
Elegance. Oh, lovely.
Fine, fine leather. Fine kid.
Oops. I'm going to flip them over. Now, sometimes they will be sized inside. I don't see any stamping inside. We have something inside here. My eyes are just not good enough. CENT. I got.
Century?
I don't think it's going to be century.
No,
I
no,
think it's going to be something in French. But there's the sizing. It's two-digit number, I think, there. It's going to have to remain a mystery, but somebody with better eyes than mine,
I guess see that.
see if yours will.
Well, I just want to see the mark.
And I think you were right, there is a wig in here. But let's, scent bottle. Lovely piece. Denise,
045. Oh, yeah.
isn't that beautiful?
It's gorgeous. Might have had something in it.
And we have a comb.
Did you open this up? Did you see?
No, I didn't with the stopper and the, I can't think of what you call the applicator.
But
Yeah.
I mean, things were real then. Things were real.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
really worked.
And then I think she has a little journal there.
Well, she has, it says Hazeltine's Pocketbook Almanac for 1886.
So this may have gone through several generations of little girls.
Sure. Warren, Pennsylvania. Wasting diseases, consumption, etc. Eclipses, and his Piso's cure for consumption. So they were interested in.
Now this, I
care of
think,
themselves.
is a celluloid fan in imitation of ivory or bone. And, there's a marking on that.
Oh dear. Okay.
I think that's a little bit later than the doll. Okay. I
Well, it
can't
says
read.
Germany,
Germany, yeah.
so that's fair.
But I think it's cellular. Doesn't that
It
feel
feels
like?
so light.
Yeah, yeah. I can't read what we are having here. Whether this is to be consumed by mouth or.
It
I
has
just
a
shouldn't be-
cork in it. We can take it out, I think.
Ah. This looks as though it was a decorative accessory for somebody else later on, and it might well have been a button with those two loops.
Oh, totally.
Pretty.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, cute though.
Yeah, it's cute, darling.
And then there's a timepiece here. So push the top. Oh, wait a minute. Let me do it this way. A little powder puff. Look at that.
Oh, wonderful.
Look.
Oh, sweet.
Isn't that cute?
Cute, yeah.
I wonder if it's. Yes,
Yes,
it's
yeah,
down.
yeah.
Oh, is that cute?
Then there's a little metal purse here, which I think is a little bit later than she is. but it's a darling little metal purse with a stamped design. And I don't see anything which is beginning to tell me the country of origin.
I would imagine it all polished up. Beautiful.
Okay, Denise, I
Well,
think.
the last thing.
I think the wig, and the other thing is that while we're here, point out the division here for the hats.
What is this? Does it?
I think that pulls up and down.
I'm not sure I want to.
No,
Do it.
I wouldn't
Okay.
do it, Denise.
Okay. Well, I've seen little things where there's a little thing that sticks out that
yeah,
you stick
stick
your
your
hat
hat, yeah,
on.
yeah.
But I've never seen
Yeah.
that.
I'm going to put that down on the bottom. Do I get to lift her wig?
Yes.
Oh, no, there's,
Oh, she's.
there are two more things
There are
in
two
there.
more things. Well, let's see. One thing, her little opera glasses. Put them here.
Now, is there anything to be seen in those glasses?
Well, I'm gonna have to look. Look
And
towards
I'm
the light.
glad that you're looking, and I'm looking at you.
Very distinguished looking gentleman standing next to a table, and a lovely lady. Beautiful 1860 with her arm draped on a table. Yeah. Okay, and here we have a little, oh, look at that. It's a little egg-shaped container for, I don't know, whatever. Little trinkets you want to put into it.
Yes,
It's actually taped. It's just taped to keep it together. I can't even see. The camera can probably see it better, the little scene on the front.
Little transfer wear.
Yeah, pretty. And little flowers on the side, very beautiful. And it's from Limoges, France. Okay. Now, get to a very fun.
Now, the most important part of any woman is her hair. And we came upon her hair as the final crowning glory.
There you go, yes.
And there it comes.
Look here, I'll give her to you. Got her hair there.
Okay,
Oh, look at the braid.
is that working, Mr. Cameraman?
It looks great.
Look at that.
Very pretty.
And then,
And we said we needed curls on the side,
we got them.
and she's got curls on the side. Just what we ordered,
And a little, what's this in the back?
a little knot.
Not.
Fabulous. Well, I hope now that we've finished pawing through this wonderful trunk full of amazing 1860s garments, that you've all had as much fun as Denise and I have had in our exploration
Yes.
of everything.
It's been tons of fun.
It always is.
You don't know what you're going to get next. And look what we found. Gorgeous. And, we don't have to be afraid of making these either.
Textbook examples, but
the period.
textbook examples in fabulous condition, and beyond being textbook, you've got wonderful color palette, you've got a wonderful selection of
Examples of the period.
dresses, and basically the bodices and the skirts are all the same pattern.
Yes.
But see the variety of garments that have been created from this one very basic pattern.
Yes. And how you can change it with trim very simply.
Trim and wonderful textiles.
Beautiful. Yes, I hope you've all enjoyed it.